Okay, this one might be weird because I just shot this, and then when I looked back at the footage, there was no footage and no soundtrack. There was a video as long as it was, but nothing there. That keeps happening with this, so I'm gonna have to find another way to do this. I don't like having to test it every single time. Anyways, so this video might be kind of interesting because typically I like to say everything just like as it's coming, and now I'm kind of like backtracking and saying it again, but we'll just see what comes through. So I sat down for an afternoon meditation, and I just closed my eyes for about 10 minutes. I set my timer to, and then ended up going 20 because more insights started dropping in, and something was sort of just like rolling around in my mind, and I was sort of starting to understand that more, so I wanted to stay with it. I ended up going 20, just as like a chill in the afternoon. Highly recommend for anybody with a busy schedule. But what came through is I'm realizing with the consistent meditation and taking time to just close your eyes, sit, be, and self-connect, one of the things that's coming out of it for me is I'm starting to be able to make clearer distinctions between beliefs that I just intellectually understand and agree with, and beliefs that I'm actually embodying and living as truths. And there's a huge, huge difference. And just to give you guys an example, it's like a really clear one we can see is public speaking. Of, say we have two people who believe I can do this, but one actually embodies it and the other is just, it's a head idea. So the person who just believes in their head, yes, I can do this, will go up there, but they maybe lack the underlying like true self-confidence and belief in themselves to do it. And that will translate to the audience. People will be able to feel that. You can feel sort of that almost like a holding back energy almost. And then versus the person who really is like truly believes to their core, I can do this, is just embodied in the success of that. That translates as well, and you can feel the comfort that they bring and just the true authenticity of, no anxiety, no worry. They're not jittery. They're just up there doing their thing. And intellectually understanding a belief is awesome. It's the step before moving it into embodiment. So I'm not saying don't do those things. Like the speaker who's up there and isn't quite embodied yet is still awesome because they're still doing it. They're proving to themselves that they can. Through that intellectual understanding, when we move that into action, we take our intellectual understanding and turn it into action, then we prove to ourselves that it's true, and then it becomes embodiment. And through an exercise that I did earlier this morning that I was reflecting on, I found some beliefs that I really, really agree with about success and manifesting, and there being enough resources for everybody on the planet, and that life truly is abundant and you're supported by the universe. And I completely 100% agree with that in my head. But I realized there's a large part of that that's not embodied, so that's not completely being mirrored to me by my external world. So just an interesting thing coming out of this, of when you take the time to just relax and let these things come up, there are subtle nuances that we start to see. And I really believe that the most powerful changes come from the actual embodiment, the most powerful teaching and sharing, and being able to transform energy and experience in other people by just being in the room, really embodied in your belief. It's just like nothing beats that. That believing it in your mind just doesn't even compare. So, yeah, cool thing to realize.